প্রিয় দর্শক, আরটিভির সাপ্তাহিক আয়োজন ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোনে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি আমি সিফাত শারমিন। প্রতি সপ্তাহে আমরা হাজির হই নতুন নতুন অতিথি নিয়ে, কথা বলি তাদের বিভিন্ন কাজ নিয়ে এবং জানতে চাই তাদের পছন্দ অপছন্দগুলো। আমাদের আজকের অতিথি বাংলাদেশে নিযুক্ত কানাডিয়ান হাই কমিশনার হার এক্সেলেন্সি হেদার ক্রুডেন। Very welcome, Your Excellency, at Diplomatic Zone.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine, thank you. Okay, as far as I know that you're here for 6 months as a Canadian High Commissioner. So would appreciate if you could tell us briefly about your career so far.
I was just counting it up, and you know, I've already been here for 8 months. It's gone so fast, I cannot believe it.
Okay.
I arrived at the end of October, and now it's the beginning of July, so I don't know where the time has gone. Before I came to Bangladesh, I was most recently in Afghanistan. I spent 2 years in Afghanistan managing Canada's aid program there. I have also served in West Bank, Gaza, or Palestine, and Iraq. And my very first posting was in Ghana in West Africa. So I'm very, very pleased to be in Bangladesh and come back to my roots and be working in a developing country. So I'm very excited to be here. And I have to say that Bangladeshis have been incredibly warm and welcoming.
Okay, thank you to know this from you. Okay, this year coincides with 40 years of diplomatic ties between Bangladesh and Canada. So would you like to comment on that?
I would indeed. On February 14th, which of course is Valentine's Day, Canada recognized Bangladesh in 1972, so 40 years ago. So we're taking the entire year to celebrate basically the 40th anniversary of our bilateral relationship. And this relationship encompasses many different aspects. So we really do feel that our relationship is based on shared values of pluralism, good governance, democracy, and human rights. We have also had a very long-standing development or aid program. Bangladesh has been an aid recipient for the last 40 years. We also have a robust and growing trade relationship, which I'm very proud about. So there's many different aspects to our relationship, which also includes up to 100,000 Bangladeshis who currently live in Canada. And we both share, I think, a common appreciation and understanding of the role of peacekeeping, because of course Bangladesh provides, I think, the greatest number of peacekeepers to the UN, and Canada has had a long-standing role in that regard as well. And I should also say that July 1st was our birthday, and it was our 145th birthday.
Okay. So in your view, what are the major achievements of Bangladesh?
I think there have been a number of different achievements over the last few years. Bangladesh has had quite significant growth, 6% per annum, over the last couple of years. We also have seen some significant progress in terms of achieving the MDGs, or the Millennium Development Goals, particularly in health and education. You are a small country with a very large population, the complete opposite to Canada, but you've made tremendous progress in reducing the population growth rate, and also the incidence of poverty has declined. So overall, I think there have been some significant achievements.
Okay, what are the priorities for Canada and Bangladesh?
Canada has got a number of different priorities. Bangladesh is one of Canada's countries of focus. In 2009, CETA reviewed its aid program and determined that Bangladesh would remain a country of focus for Canada. From 1972 to 2011, almost $4.1 billion was given in aid, so that's very significant for us. Our objectives here really focus on children and youth, because we believe children and youth are the future of this country, as in many other countries. And to achieve that objective, we've specifically focused on primary education and maternal and newborn child health. So that's really the focus from the CETA perspective, as well as supporting sustainable economic growth.
Okay, you were talking about the Millennium Development Goal.
Yes.
So, which is called MDG 5. And presently, our maternal mortality rate is 194 per 100,000 live births in Bangladesh. So how can we reduce this number? And I know that Canadian government has good contribution to reduce this number. So would you please explain about this?
Yes, well, this is a priority for our Prime Minister as well. In 2010, Canada hosted the G8, and as part of the G8, Prime Minister Harper announced the Muskoka Initiative, which was an initiative to focus on maternal and newborn child health.
Yeah.
And we committed an additional $1.1 billion, and this is in addition to the $1.75 billion that was programmed for the 5-year period. And there are 10 countries that are going to be recipients of this $2.85 billion. And Bangladesh is one of those 10 countries.
Oh.
So I think that's quite significant.
You were talking about CIDA, which is known as Canadian International Development Agency. So can you tell us about the CIDA's achievement, development achievements in Bangladesh?
Absolutely. CIDA's had some really significant achievements in conjunction with the government of Bangladesh. So on the education side, we've been focusing on it both with the government, improving access and quality. And we think this is really important. And as I said, we really do believe youth are the future of this country. And so to invest in the youth is very important. So over the past few years, from 2005 to 2010, we've seen an increase in the enrollment rate by almost 10%, from 87% to 96%, with gender parity, so meaning girls have equal access to boys. And we have constructed, with the government, 38,000 new classrooms.
Okay.
We have helped certify 105,000 teachers, and we've helped the government recruit 45,000 new teachers. Our investments in maternal and newborn and child health have helped contribute to a 40% decline in maternal mortality between 2001 and 2010, so over the last decade.
Good governance is a major issue in Bangladesh. So how does Canada work for this?
It is a major issue. And I think it's really important to take a look at how we are defining governance. And for us, governance is really about the values and the rules and the institutions and processes by which people and organizations work towards common objectives and make decisions and generate authority and exercise legitimacy and power. And it encompasses Parliament, it encompasses the executive, judiciary, and civil society and the media also have a very important role to play. We firmly believe that the Millennium Development Goals cannot be reached and sustained without good governance.
Good governance.
And so Canada has identified good governance as a cross-cutting theme in all of our programming. So we support all of our partners' efforts in achieving good governance. And specifically, we are working with the World Bank on a couple of different projects.
Yeah.
One is known as SPEMP, which is Strengthening the Public Expenditure Management Program.
Okay.
So that's a World Bank project over the next 5 years that's looking at increasing, again, accountability.
Accountability.
And we're also working with the World Bank at another project, which is parliamentary and media support. So again, it's focusing on sharing information with parliamentarians and the media to help keep people informed. And then we have a specific project that CIDA is implementing with our partners, which is focusing on the Auditor General's office.
You are talking about media. I will ask you about media later. Now, gender issue.
Okay.
Okay, so how does Canada government ensure gender equity in their different programs?
Well, again, gender is considered a cross-cutting theme, but one of our priorities is maternal and child and newborn health. So when you're working with women and when you're working with young children, de facto you've got gender programming happening. But we really want to ensure equity and access by the Girl Child for Education, for example, and for girls and women in terms of access to the healthcare system. We also had a specific project which is just finished, which was called PLAGE, which was the Policy Leadership and Advocacy Project. And in that project, we were working with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Women's Affairs to engender the budget and to help the government put in place policies and programs that recognize the impact that these policies and programs can have on women. So to really improve the capacity for gender analysis and gender-based budgeting.
Okay. So Canada is a trading partner
It is.
As I know. And
It
tell
is.
us about the Bangladesh and Canada trade prospects.
They're very good. What I should start off by saying is that in 2003, January 1st, 2003, Canada removed all of the tariffs. So after that, exports from Bangladesh grew astronomically and exponentially. And of course, Bangladesh is exporting primarily ready-made garments, and I have seen a lot of ready-made garments in stores in Canada. So what that has meant is that the trade relationship has grown to $1.6 billion in 2011. It's not very balanced. So it's about 1.1 billion that's being exported from Bangladesh, and it's about 500 million that's being exported from Canada. And from Canada, we focus primarily on agricultural products. And as I said, from Bangladesh, it's primarily ready-made garments. But we're looking to expand into ICT, telecommunications, and pharmaceuticals as well. We have a number of different Canadian companies that are present here. So one of them is RIM, which is Research in Motion, and they manufacture the BlackBerry, which I cannot live without. This is a really important piece of equipment for me in my day-to-day life and managing the office, especially since I don't spend a lot of time in the office, so this means I can be constantly connected. We also have Bombardier, who is present here, and they produce the Dash 8 aircrafts that I think most of the airlines use here. IMW is one of the leading CNG station manufacturers, which is really the CNGs, and the introduction of that has helped improve the quality of air, I understand, in Dhaka. Alliance Grains is the largest red lentil processor in the world, and they're also present here. And we export a lot of red lentils, specifically from Saskatchewan. And then we have another company called Eyeball Networks, which is a leading communications software developer. So our trade relationship is very robust, it's strong, and it's growing, and we want to see it to continue to grow.
Okay, we will talk about media and visa process and so many things, but we have to take a short break. Okay. ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোনের এই পর্যায়ে নিচ্ছি বিরতি, ফিরছি একটু পরেই, সে পর্যন্ত আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকুন। আবারও আমন্ত্রণ ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোন অনুষ্ঠানে। কথা বলছিলাম বাংলাদেশে নিযুক্ত কানাডিয়ান হাই কমিশনার হার এক্সেলেন্সি হেদার ক্রুডেনের সঙ্গে। Welcome again, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Sifa.
So we were talking about the trading partner, and now let's talk on education. Every year, a large number of students are going to Canada for higher education. So what's your opinion about this?
I think it's a great opportunity for Bangladeshi students. Canada has a very robust education system, post-secondarily, well, at all levels, but most of the Bangladeshi students are going for post-secondary education, either to universities or to community colleges, either for an undergraduate degree or master's or doctorate. And the number of students going to Canada has doubled in recent years, which we think is fantastic. And for us, it's really an important way to strengthen sort of the people-to-people ties, and for Bangladeshis to have a better appreciation of what Canada is like. I think we're a fantastic country, obviously, I'm biased.
Obviously.
But it's a really, I think, fantastic opportunity, as I've said. The other thing is that we do have opportunities for scholarships, and I'm really proud to announce that last year a Bangladeshi student won the Vanier Scholarship. And this scholarship is open, obviously, to all Canadians and any other people that are studying in Canada. And it's worth about $50,000 a year, so this is significant. And this young Bangladeshi student was the recipient, and he has got a background in engineering, and he's going to be studying wireless communications. So it's a fantastic opportunity for him.
Okay, so what do you hope to achieve during your tenure as a High Commissioner of Canada in Bangladesh?
Well, I think it's multifaceted. As I said, our relationship, our bilateral relationship covers trade, development, political. So I've got different objectives in the different areas. I would really like to see our trade relationship hit $2 billion, and I'd like to see Canadian exports to Bangladesh increase. Our development relationship is very strong, but we'd like to continue to work with the government of Bangladesh to support Bangladesh and its people to reach its full potential, because we think Bangladesh is a country that has enormous potential generally. So we want our development relationship to remain strong, and that we can continue to invest in Bangladesh's future by creating opportunities for children and youth and stimulating the economic growth. We also look forward to seeing, and I'm going to be here for the next 3 years, a free, fair, credible, and transparent election. And we think that this is really important. And I think it's also important to view elections as not an end in and of itself, but as a means to an end, which is improving good governance and democracy. And so we'd like to see a fully democratic society, including a functioning parliament, vibrant civil society, robust media, and independent institutions that are continuing being strengthened. So I look forward to fostering our relationship now and for the duration of my tenure here.
Oh, okay. You were talking about scholarship. So may I know the process or the system of the scholarship?
Well, for this particular individual, the Vanier Scholarship, it is incredibly competitive. So there's an application process that all of the students go through, and I don't know the details of it, but it's a very, very rigorous process because, as I said, it's open to all Canadian students and anybody else studying in Canada. So it's very, very rigorous and it's very academic. There are other scholarships that are available through the individual universities. So any student that is interested can look at the university's websites and see what opportunities are available.
Okay. Now let's talk on visa system. Very recent that Canadian visa system has changed and now they settle from Singapore. So which is slightly burden for us and expensive too. So would you please explain about this visa process?
Absolutely. Well, I should start off by saying that there were 5 offices across the world that were closed. So Bangladesh was one of the countries, but also Japan and Tokyo, Berlin in Germany, Kuala Lumpur, and Tehran. And this is part of our government's efforts to increase efficiency and effectiveness. My government is very, very strong at looking at ways to increase efficiency and effectiveness. So they're looking at a regional model now. So as you said, all the visa applications are now being processed in Singapore. But we have an agent here, which is VFS, and they have offices in Chittagong and Sylhet, and in Dhaka, of course. So basically, you go in and you submit your application, your passport there, and then they will forward it to Singapore. Okay. So the process is exactly the same. It's just taking a little bit longer because there's some things that we have to smooth out in terms of the process. But the process itself, in terms of the visa application, is exactly the same.
Let's talk on media.
Absolutely.
So how television can take part to promote your activity, and have you any program with the electronic media?
Well, I should thank RTV for inviting me here today, because I think this is a really important way for us to tell about the Bangladesh-Canadian relationship and the importance that Canada places on it. Canada generally thinks that the media is incredibly important, and it's, as I said, one of the pillars to ensure good governance. Journalists are generally friends of democracy. So a robust media, an independent media, is important to foster dialogue, mutual understanding, share information, and the media, we believe, plays a very important role as the watchdog. We have had a program in the past for the last 5 years with the Bangladesh Center for Development and Journalism and Communication. And these were the Canadian Awards for Excellence in Bangladesh Journalism. And there were 42 journalists that over the past 5 years have received these awards, which specifically recognize quality journalism and reporting in specific areas. And so we look forward to fostering this relationship with the media in the future as well.
Okay, we are at the end of the program. Now let's talk on some personal likings.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, which Bengali food do you like most?
I have to say I love shingara. I know they're probably not very good for me, but they're lovely.
Okay, nothing else?
No, I like, actually, as I said in the beginning, Bangladeshis have been incredibly warm and welcoming. So I have been invited.
You have it?
To so many.
Where you have it?
Oh, we have that in our office because we bring that in on Thursdays.
Okay.
But I've been invited to so many people's houses, and I've tasted so many different kinds of Bengali foods. I mean, all the different kinds of fish and the rice and the curries. And I'm very fond of curries, so I've been enjoying and experimenting with everything.
How do you celebrate our Bengali New Year?
Unfortunately, I wasn't here last year during the Bengali New Year. I was out of the country. But I look forward to being here next year and celebrating it with all of my Bangladeshi friends.
Okay, can you please tell about Bangladesh in one sentence?
I will do my best. I think I need 2 sentences.
You can say also, okay, yeah.
As I said earlier, I think Bangladesh is a country with huge potential. And as 1/3 of the population are youth, and we think that youth really can be the agents of change. I think we're going to see Bangladesh really transform itself over the next decade. I think there are so many opportunities here, and I look forward to seeing some of them happen over the course of the next 3 years. And I think as a people, and I've said this I think twice already, Bangladeshis are incredibly warm and welcoming, but they're also incredibly entrepreneurial and creative. And I've seen that in the art scene here, in the music, in the culture, in the business community. I think it really pervades all aspects of your society.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you for giving your valuable time for our TV. Hope to see you again in this show.
Inshallah. I hope that you'll invite me back sometime, and I would just like to thank our TV and the Diplomatic Zones team for inviting me today and for discussing Canada-Bangladesh relationships and helping me celebrate our 40th anniversary of our diplomatic ties.
Okay, thank you. দর্শক, শেষ করছি আজকের ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোন। আগামীতে আবার দেখা হবে নতুন কোনো অতিথির সঙ্গে। সে পর্যন্ত সবাই ভালো থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন। ধন্যবাদ।